Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirai नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोकिर्भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः वागीश्वरी यस्य वदने लक्ष्मी यस्य च वक्षसे यस्यास्ति हृदय संवित् तम नरसिंहम् आं भजे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Dear devotees, you are all welcome for Bhakti Vaibhav study of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th canto with Vihe. Till now you have finished the descendant of Swayambhu Manu, Priyavarta, the eldest son, who was preparing to get renounce order at the ashram of Devrishi Narad, but on the instruction of Brahmaji, the Acharya for Vedas, and Swayambhu Manu, his father, the Acharya of Smriti and Shruti. Shruti is Brahma and Smriti is Swayambhu Manu. He accepted the proposal to rule, and then he married and he ruled, and by the wheels of his chariot 7 seas and 7 islands were created, and he wanted to really change the night into the day. And afterwards his son Agnidhar, he also married, but he was more in a enjoying mood. But his next son Nabhi was a great devotee, and in a yajna he got a son. There is the incarnation of Supreme Lord, Lord Rishabdev. And the Lord Rishabdev married the Jayanti, daughter of Indra, and he got 100 sons, and the eldest was called Bharata by name. And after his name, the whole planet Earth is called Bharatavarsha. So because the sons of say descendant of Priyavarta, all the islands are named after his sons. I mean, says Priyavarta's grandsons. I'm sure. Am I right? Anybody can comment on this? The 7 islands are named after whose sons? This is a question in your question bank as far as I remember the old. Yes?
Prithu Maharaj?
No, how come Prithu Maharaj comes here, 4th canto?
Sorry.
This is 5th canto.
Sorry, Priyavat Maharaj.
Maharaj Nabi.
Who said? Who said?
Priyavat Maharaj, Prabhu, I said.
Priyavarta are son of Priyavarta. You make sure, I'm just giving you this sort of little homework. All the islands you write on one side, and then the name of the son of one of the descendant of Priyavarta. Why this actually, this 5th canto is mostly describing which subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam? Which subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam?
The
Sorry?
the, the structure of the universe.
What is that called?
Jambudvip.
What is that? What is that?
Jambudvip.
No, no. What is that
Sarga.
subject matter of Bhagavad? Bhagavad have 10 subject matters.
Sarga. Sarga and
No,
Visarga.
Sarga is the third canto,
This is
mostly.
Visarga.
Visarga is fourth canto. What is after Visarga?
This is Sthanam, actually.
Yeah, it is called Sthanam or the Sthanam, and the next word for Sthanam is Vaikunta Vijay. Sthanam or Vaikunta Vijay. And Sthanam means geography and astronomy. So, because the name of all islands are after the names of Priyavrat, so they are here in this chapter. Because the Sthana Leela, yeah, Sthan subject of Bhagavatam is this, so the names are after the Jambudeep. In Jambudeep there is a Bharat verse which is after Maharaj Bharat. So they are here. Now Rishabdev was teaching to his sons at Brahmavat and pointing towards Maharaj Bharat, and wonderful teaching for resident of Bharat Varsha, which I think you will discuss in chapter 18 in the upcoming chapters, Bharat Varsha and other verses of Jambudeep. So this Maharaj Bharat was at the, he is the example of Bhav Bhakti. Anybody from Nectar of Devotion can recall which Maharaj Bharat is example of which symptom of Bhav Bhakti? Yes? Do you remember the ninth characteristic of Bhav Bhakti? Avairathya
Prabhuji,
kalatvam.
a few of them are Shama, and then Nam Gane Sada Ruchi.
Yeah, these are the some
Avyat
symptom.
Kalatvam.
Right. And so there is an example of Maharaj Bharat in one of the symptoms. Which is that symptom? Is a number one most probably.
That is Shama. Like he was very
Vrakti.
he was compassionate
Vrak,
for the living entities.
Vrakti, not Kshama, Vrakti. Vrakti, because he was renounced being a emperor, he just left everything behind and went to the ashram of Pula Rishi at the bank of river. All these salangrams are appearing in that river in Nepal. What is the name of the river?
Prabhuji, is it Gandaki?
Gandaki, right, Gandaki, very good. So then he saw the baby deer after the mother died, and he become compassionate, and with then after compassion he become attached. So even at Bhav Bhakti there is a possibility of some, some unearth is still left, and therefore he has to undergo 3 births. First he become deer, and then in the body of deer he remembered his past life and his devotion. He was stayed at the same ashram of Pula Rishi, and then he left the body of deer, and then he became Jad Bharta. Now this is the section where this Jad Bharat in his third birth is instructing the king of Sindh and Sover, who was in palanquin going to Ganga Sagar. Now the Mela in Ganga Sagar is going on. Now this is the time, the Mela, where ISKCON has a big temple also, and a big food distribution there, prasad distribution at Ganga Sagar. So This Jadbharta was engaged in carrying the palanquin, and because he was so compassionate, so he was actually not synchronizing with the three other palanquin carriers, so there was some trouble to the king Rahugan, and he was chastising this new carrier. And first time Jadbharat opened the mouth and he spoke some philosophy of the soul and body. I am soul, I am not that, this body. And then he gave the example of boiling, pot in the on this fire, and then pot become hot, and then the whatever is in the pot, rice become hot. So like that, he gave the example, well, I am standing on earth, my body is made up of earth, and the person sitting in the palanquin is also made up of wood which comes from earth, and in that somebody who is also earth thinking I am king, and he is chastising the other as he is controlled. So he said something and Maharaj Rahugan was a intelligent king. He immediately realized this is not an ordinary person. So he jumped from the palanquin and he asked him, why you are saying this, please to explain me. And now Jadbharat is speaking an allegory of a forest. And this is what is in 13th chapter, and at the end of the 13th chapter, Parikshat Maharaj asked question that King Rahugan wanted to know the more detailed explanation of this allegory. So the 14th chapter is starting to continue the explanation of the allegory of the forest, which is actually a family life in this material world. So we are starting this only a first day. I'm just giving you the one thing which I heard. Why Jadbharat was talking to the Rahugan, not to anybody else philosophically, I have heard that, I have not read, but I have heard from a mouth of a saintly person that deer to which Maharaj Bharat was attached, that deer next life become King Rahugan. So he had the same affection for Maharaj Rahugan as his own, very dear and near. So he wanted to enlighten him. This is something just for your knowledge, it's not for exams. Now we are starting the chapter 14, and we will complete a couple of verses today, Krishna willing. So these verses are in prose. So we will directly read the translation. We are reading the translation of the first verse. But you can see the first verse word sa ho vacha. Sa, Srila Prabhupada writes sa and he and vacha. Sa vacha. And for sa, Srila Prabhupada self-realized devotee Sri Sukdev Goswami. Ha indeed vacha means he spoke. So these are indeed the word of self-realized devotee. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, this sa, he says sa is a jiva, or the living entity. But I don't know, this is something Srila Prabhupada has written, so we are reading. When King Parikshit asked Sukdev Goswami about direct meaning of material forest, Sukdev Goswami replied as follows, my dear king, a man belongs to the mercantile community, vanik. Vanik means one who is sitting under the tree and selling his goods is called vanik. And mercantile community means generally Vaishya community. Out of the four, the say mercantile is a Vaishya. So there is Shudra, Vaishya, Brahman and Kshatri. So these are the orders. Is always interested in earning money. Sometime he entered the forest to acquire some cheap commodities like wood and earth, which means some minerals or something. And wood generally means sandalwood or some other wood, and sell them in the city at good price. Similarly, now allegory is this. Similarly, the conditioned soul, being greedy, enters this material world for some material profit. Generally, he enters the deepest part of the forest, not really knowing how to get out. Having entered the material world, the pure soul becomes conditioned by the material atmosphere, which is created by external energy under the control of Lord Vishnu. Maya dekshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetu nane na konte jagat viparivartate. So this is the verse is under control. The external energy is under control of Lord Vishnu. Thus living entity comes under the control of external energy, Devi Maya. Living independently and bewildered in the forest. This independent is a problem actually. We think we are independent, but we are not, and therefore we are bewildered. We think we are independent, therefore we are bewildered. He does not attend the association of devotees who are always engaged in the service of the Lord. Once in the bodily concept, he gets different type of bodies one after the other under the influence of material energy and impelled by the modes of material nature, satogun, rajogun and tamogun. In this way, the conditioned soul becomes conditioned by the material energy and impelled by the modes of material nature. Anti sattvastha madhya tishtanti rajasaha jagan gunavrti sto adhogachanti tamasaha. Those in the mode of goodness go to the heavenly planet, mode of patience comes to the earthly planet, and mode of ignorance could go to the lower planet or lower species. Exactly, actually, in the translation, Srila Prabhupada is giving commentary actually. He is explaining these things more elaborately even in the translation. And this is the verse as it is given here. Thus he suffers continuously due to the different type of bodies. Why somebody suffer in bodies also a verse you have done in the teaching of Lord Rishabdev. Klesha daha esa deha. If you remember this verse, because of they do vikrama, the activities against the scripture, therefore they get body which always give trouble. And this is the first famously Prabhupada quote oftentimes. Klesh daha a body. You remember this word? Anybody remember this verse? Klesh deha. Then there one more word. So these are some words, maybe some words, verses for you to memorize. The first one, Nunam Pramatta. This is also Pramatta because he is blind and mad. These suffering and pains are sometimes mixed. Mixed, which means sometimes they are happiness, sometimes they are misery, and sometimes they are mixed. Sometimes they are very severe when he go to hell, and sometimes they are not. These bodily conditions are acquired due to the conditioned soul's mental speculation. He uses his mind and five senses to acquire knowledge, and these bring out the different bodies. and different conditions. Now, if you read, these bodily conditions are acquired by the conditioned soul's mental speculation, which means mind. And then he uses mind and five senses acquiring knowledge. These brings the different bodies and different conditions. This is the verse in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Anybody can recall?
Prakriti Kriyamanani. Jiva Bhuta Samana Sanatana Manashashtani Indriyani Karshanti.
Manasishtani Indriyani, this is mind and senses is okay, but this is something different. He gets the different bodies because of the mind, and mind has the five senses imprinted on this. Utkaramantam istamai bhunjan va guranvitam vimuda nanu pashyanti pashyanti gyaan chakshusha, before this verse.
Okay, okay.
Shrotam chakshura, like the
Shrotam chakshusham sparshanam cha
yeah.
rasanam grahanam
Evacha adhishtayam manaschayam
adhishtayam
vishyanoupsevati.
manasthayam.
Yeah, just before that is mind carries the soul from one body to other like the aroma, air carries the aroma. And then according to the desires, the mind will get the different senses, eyes, nose, and these acquiring senses, and then he enjoy accordingly. So what I'm saying is, when you read this, your mind must immediately refer, because everything is in the scripture. Just you just try your, use your intelligence actively when you are reading, then you will relish the Bhagavatam. Using the senses under the control of external energy, Maya, the living entity, suffer the miserable condition of material existence. He is actually searching for relief, but he is generally befuddled. Although sometimes he is relieved after great difficulty, struggling for existence in this way, he cannot get shelter of pure devotee, who are like bumblebees, engaged in loving service of the lotus feet of the Lord. Now this is the Lord Vishnu. This is the last line in the prose of this first verse. Now I am reading, the Srila Prabhupada is giving commentary also. Here Chakravarti writes, the jiva, sa, using the doors of six senses, shad indriya vargena dwara bhutena, wanders around in sansar, having walked along the difficult road. Durga adhva vada asugame adhavani apatita. So these are the words of the verse. Belonging to the persons who identify with the body, they atma manina, with many obstructions, experiencing sansara. Sansara means repeated birth and death. With beginningless happiness and distress, anadi anubhavasya, arising from accepting, rejecting, vyog samyog, a series of various bodies, vivid deha adi, produced by performing auspicious or inauspicious act, kushala akushala samvahara vinirmita, which are divided according to the three guna, satvadi guna visesha vikalpitaha. The jiva lokaha, like a wealthy merchant, yatha sartha vanika, greedy for object of enjoyment, artha paraha, though experiencing karma produced by his body, swadeha nishpadita karma anubhavaha, through the agency of Mayaya, controlled by the Lord Ishvasya Bhagavato Vishnu, while walking in the most inauspicious forest of Sansara, Ashivattamayam Sansara Adhyan Gataha. This Adhyan means forest. So this Bhavati is called Atvi, which is similar to crematorium. Samsanavada, and performing useless actions with many obstacles. Vipala Bahu Pratyega Iha, even now does not attain Adya Api Avarudhe, The feet of the bumblebee like devotees, Madhukar Charanaravindha, attracted to the worshipping Lord in the form of Guru, Hari Guru Anupadavim. This, this lotus feet is capable of pacifying the miseries of the sansar, tatapada upashamanim. Now, this is the word-to-word translation like that. Now, in this summary of the verse is conditioned in the material world. Srila Prabhupada starts purport with the one word which is the last word in the verse. The most important information in this verse is Hari Guru Charanaravind Madhukar Anupadavim. In this material world, the conditioned souls are befelled by their activities, and sometimes they are relieved after great difficulty. On the whole, the conditioned soul is never happy. He simply struggles for existence. Actually, his only business is to accept the spiritual master, the Guru, and through him, he must accept the lotus feet of the Lord. So, lotus feet of the Lord. This is explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. People struggling for existence in the forest or the cities of the material world are not actually enjoying life. They are simply suffering different pains and pleasures, generally pains that are always inauspicious. They try to gain release from these pains, but they cannot due to ignorance. For them, it is stated in the Vedas, Tadavigyan artham sagrom eva bhigachet mukunda Upanishad. When the living entity is lost in the forest of material world in the struggle for existence, his first business is to find the bona fide Guru, who is always engaged in the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. After all, if he is at all eager to be relieved of the struggle for existence, he must find a spiritual bona fide Guru. What is the meaning of bona fide Guru, by the way? Because it's a very common word in this every we have to find bona fide Guru. Anybody can say what is the bona fide Guru?
He should be expert in the shastras and should be able to convey the message of the shastras to the disciples.
So he must be.
He should belong to parampara.
So both things together. He must be in a parampara and he must be referring to some revealed scripture. He speaks something which must be in the scripture. So scripture and parampara are the two important things for somebody master. That is right. Okay. And take instruction at it. In this way he can get out of this struggle. Since the material world is compared here into the forest, it may be argued that in a Kali Yuga, modern civilization is mainly situated in the cities. A great city, however, is like a great forest. Actually, city life is more dangerous than life in the forest. If one enters an unknown city without a friend or a shelter, living in that city is more difficult than living in the forest. There are many big cities all over the surface of the globe, and wherever one looks, he sees a struggle for existence going on 24 hours a day. People rush about in cars going 70 and 80 miles an hour, constantly coming and going, and this sets the scene of great struggle for existence. One has to rise early in the morning and travel in that car at a breakneck speed. There is always the danger of an accident, and one has to take great care. In his automobile, the living entity is full of anxieties, and his struggle is not at all auspicious. Apart from human beings, other species like cats and dogs are also struggling very hard day and night for existence. Thus, the struggle for existence continues, and the conditioned soul changes from one position to the another. For a while, he is child, but he has to become a boy. From a boy he has to change into the youth, and from youth to manhood and old age. Finally, when the body is no longer workable, he has to accept new body in a different species. Giving up the body is called death, and accepting the another body is called birth. The human form is an opportunity to take shelter of the bona fide spiritual master, and through him, the Supreme Lord. This Krishna conscious movement has been started to give an opportunity to all members of the human society who are misled by foolish leaders. So this is the mission of Krishna conscious movement, to give opportunity to the misguided people to accept the bona fide spiritual master, and under his instruction serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. No one can get out of this struggle for existence, which is full of miseries, without accepting a pure devotee of the Lord. The material attempts changes from the one position to the another, and no one actually gains relief from its struggle for existence. The only resort is the lotus feet of bona fide spiritual master, and through him the lotus feet of the Lord. Chakravarti Pad writes, the jeev going into the forest of sansar, which means this material world, even today has not attained devotees who like bees are attracted to the worship of the lotus feet of Guru, a form of the Lord, representative of the Lord. This means that without taking shelter of the feet of the Sri Guru, one wanders around in sansar, having walked along the difficult roads with many obstructions, experiencing sansar with beginningless happiness and distress arising from accepting and rejecting a series of the various bodies produced by performing auspicious and inauspicious acts, which are divided according to the three gunas. Since sansar of the jiva is made by Maya, the jiva should surrender to Maya Devi. Being pleased with him, she will free him from bondage. These lines Srila Prabhupada used to say, because we are living in this material world, and the presiding deity of the material world is Durga Devi, so pray to the Durga Devi that please relieve me from your shackles that I can serve Lord Sri Krishna. So here Chakravarti Pad writes that they should surrender to the Maya. Being pleased with him, she will free him from bondage. Why should one surrender to Guru? Question. But Maya is controlled by the Lord. She cannot independently award liberation. It is said in Gita, Devi esh gunmayi mammaya durtaya mameviye parbadyante maya metan tarantite. The Maya made of guna fit for Jiva's pleasure. This Jiva's pleasure is Devi. Devi means pleasure. Is hard to surpass. But those who surrender to me, means Krishna, alone can cross over Maya. The use of the word ev indicates that Lord alone can deliver the Jeev, not the combination of Lord and Maya. Performing many activities with the fruitless, and with many obstacles, Jiva does not attain the devotees. So what is the last word you think in this verse is most important? Yes?
To find out a bona fide spiritual master and perform devotional service under his guidance.
So yeah, this is the most important thing, that because it's very difficult to be free from the cultures of the Maya, which is governing the material world, which is like a forest, and we are all lost into it. Only way to get out of it is accepting the bona fide spiritual master and getting his instruction to serve the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. That is the only way to get out from this shackles of the Maya, material world, of the forest of enjoyment, whatever you call. Now we are going to the verse number 2. In the forest of material existence, it means material world, the uncontrolled senses are like plunderers. The conditioned soul may earn some money for the advancement of Krishna consciousness, which means good karma. But unfortunately, the uncontrolled senses plunder his money through sense gratification. The senses are plunders because they make one spend his money unnecessarily for seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, and hearing. Desiring and willing, these are mind. The first five are the senses, desiring and willing is mind. Six, there are six because five mind and six is mind, five senses and six mind. In this way, the conditioned soul is obliged to gratify his senses, and thus all his money is spent. The money is actually acquired for the execution of religious principle, artha dharmaya, but it is taken away by plundering senses. Chakravartipad writes, in that forest, Yasyam, the thieves like six senses, ete shad indriya nam dasya vaha. Dasya means dacoits. Just as thieves plunder a man's wealth, tad yatha purushaya dhanam, which is meant for service to the Lord, parama purusha aradhana lakshano. Parama purusha aradhana lakshano. And has been attained with great difficulty, bahu krichar adhigatam, by rightful means, dharma upayakam. And just as thieves plunder the wealth of a merchant, yatha sarthasya vilumpanti, who is without proper intelligence and has uncontrolled senses, kunathasya, kunath, ku means bad, nath means master. Here the mind is a bad master. Ajit atmanah, and uncontrolled senses. So the senses, by their action of enjoying, seeing, touching, hearing, tasting, smelling, thinking, and deciding, darshan, sprashan, sharavan, aswadan, avagrahana, sankalpa, vyas, things related to the sense gratification, graha gramya upabhogena, plunder man's wealth, dhanam vilumpanti. Uncontrolled senses is the theme of this verse. Now Srila Prabhupada's purport. And this line Srila Prabhupada has written, but he has not given translation for these Sanskrit lines. Purva janma arjita. It means in last life, whatever he has accumulated. Vidya, which means knowledge. Purva janama arjitam dhanam. And because from the last life, whatever wealth he has accumulated. Agre dhavati dhavati. Agre means front, dhavati means running, and dhavati means running. So by following the principle of varna ashram dharma, Prabhupada has written these lines, has not explained what it means. So we will read the purport and find out what actually Prabhupada wanted by this. By following the principle of varna ashram dharma, one attain a better position in the material world. One may be rich, learned, these are the words vidya and dhanam. He is a rich, is a dhanam, and learned is a vidya. Beautiful or high born means a good family. So these are the four things which are usually for the people who are coming from the purva janma arjit, from the last life, if they were in the heavenly planet and they have pious activities accumulated, then they will get these four benefits. One who has all these assets should know that they are all meant for advancement in Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, when a person is misguided, he misuses his high position of sense gratification. Therefore, the uncontrolled senses are considered plunderers. The good position, it means accumulated pious activities from the last life. One squandered in sense gratification. They are meant for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. What actually Srila Prabhupada is writing, these four things people get: wealth, good education, good parentage, and good wealth. They are because of his past good karma. And now he has a good opportunity to continue further. Any verse you remember from Bhagavad Gita? Unfulfilled yogi, 6th chapter, right?
Yeah. Yes,
Shrimatam gehe yoga bhrishto abhijayate. He is getting birth in a rich family. Athva yogi nameva kule bhavati dhimatam. This is the meaning. And after these verses, what it says, he should continue. He should not again make a mistake of uh, engaging in sense gratification and finishing his pious activities and practices. He should be. There are two words in this 6th chapter. Priyatnad yatmanastu. He must endeavor to advance and he must be careful not to fall down again. Priyatan and yatan. Priyatan means endeavor, yatan means to become very careful not to fall down again. So, when we are reading this in this way, if you recall, then you understand this. Otherwise, you just read this, never stuck in your mind. This Krishna conscious movement is therefore teaching people to control mind and 5 knowledge acquiring senses by definite process. What is that definite process? This is the second verse, which is also saying the purpose of Krishna conscious movement. So maybe you write, you just keep a one page in the 14th chapter, what is the purpose of Krishna conscious movement. Wherever you get, you just add in that, and then you will have something that what is the purpose of Krishna conscious movement explained in the 14th chapter or something. We will come up with this some conclusion. Okay, I don't know what is in the question bank. Maybe tomorrow somebody can send me, then we can discuss. But this is what from my side, is a good question. And this is what is that? What is what is this definite process? Anybody can say what is the definite process? Krishna consciousness is teaching people
to control mind and 5 knowledge requirement senses.
what is definite process. Vaidhi
Surrender into Krishna,
sa,
surrender.
sadhan bhakti. Vaidhi sadhan bhakti.
Okay.
By chanting holy name and by restricting. So in sadhan bhakti, 10 are do's and 10 are don'ts. So our 5 don'ts are coming in that. And do's are accepting his spiritual master, taking his shelter. So you know the 64 items of sadhan bhakti is a definite process. And out of those 5 are most important, which are Srila Prabhupada instituted in all the temples. Reading Bhagavatam every day, greeting deities every day, chanting holy name every day, associating with devotees every day, visiting holy dham or living on holy dham. These are all definite process. And this is what Srila Prabhupada instituted in all the temples. And this is what who indulge in it are punished life after life. Confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Asurim yonim apanab janmani janmani aprapya mam konteha jan adhamam gatim janat yanti adhamam gatim. Attaining repeated birth among these species of demonic life, such person never approach me. Gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not allow anyone to act against the stringent laws of material nature. Therefore, illicit sex is punished life after life. Illicit sex creates pregnancies, and these unwanted pregnancies lead to abortion. Those involved become implicated in these sins, so much so that they are punished in the same way the next life. It means they will be killed. Thus, in the next life, they also enter the womb of mother and are killed in the same way. All these things can be avoided by remaining on the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness. In this way, one does not commit sinful activity. Illicit sex is the most prominent sin due to lusty desires. When one associates with mode of passion, he is implicated in suffering life after life. When we are reading this line, you can remember anything? When one is associated with mode of passion, he is implicated in sinful life after life. Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter. Kam esha krodha esha rajogun samudva mahashano mahapapma is the most sinful, and it leads to miseries life after life. Chakravarti, but this verse explains the whirlwind. Having woman on the lap is like seeing afflicted by a whirlwind. His vision is covered by the impulses of passion, like being covered by the dust. So these are the allegory. What is whirlwind compared to? Woman on the lap. What is the impression in this compared to? Dust covering eyes. His intelligence becomes blinded by lust, and he does not recognize the devata of the direction, such as sun and fire, who have become invisible. Rajni Bhuta. Last verse for today. Woman is described as paramada prakarstena rupena madha, the highest kind of intoxication. Wine's effect is seen after taking, but woman's effect just by seeing. The conditioned soul sometimes personally appreciate the futility of sense enjoyment in the material world, and he sometimes considers material enjoyment to be full of miseries. However, due to his strong bodily conception, his memory is destroyed, and again he runs after material enjoyment just as an animal runs after a mirage in the desert. Though at one time, Kvajit Sakradvan, realizing the futility of sense object, Avagatta Vishyaha Vaitithya, because his memory has been destroyed, Vibhransta Smrtihi, by absorption in his body, Swayam Para Abhidhyanena, he continually run after sense object, Tan Ev Abhidhavanti Prayan, which are like the mirage of water, Marichi Toya Eva. The main disease in the material life is bodily conception. Being befell again and again in material activity, the conditioned soul temporarily think of the futility of material enjoyment, but he again tries the same thing. By the association of devotee, a person may become convinced of the material futility, but he cannot give up his engagement, although he is very eager to return home back to Godhead. Under these circumstances, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart, compassionately takes away all the materialistic possession of such devotee. Now, Prabhupada is writing something. As stated in Srimad Bhagvatam, Yasyaham anugrahami harisya tad dhanam sanai. The Lord Krishna says that he takes everything away from a devotee whom he especially favors when the devotee is overly attached to the materialistic position. When everything is taken away, the devotee feels helpless and frustrated in the society, friendship and love. He feels that his family does not care for him any longer, and he therefore completely surrenders unto the lotus feet of Supreme Lord. This is a special favor granted by the Lord to a devotee who cannot fully surrender to Lord due to his strong bodily conception. As explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ami Vigya e Murakha Vishyakena Diva. The Lord understands the devotee who hesitates to engage in the Lord's service, not knowing whether he should again try to revive his material life. After repeated attempts and failures, he fully surrendered to Lotus feet of Lord. Lord then gives him direction, and attaining happiness, he forgets all material engagement. Chakravarti Pad writes, sometimes the events are described in order and sometimes not in sequence. Sometimes there is repetition, but one should not ignore the explanation. It is not possible to make all the roads in the forest straight. Therefore, giving up one's own sense pride, things should be explained as they are in the text. This verse explains the pursuit of marriage of water. This is in the verse number 5 of chapter 13. One time the person realized the futility of sense enjoyment, but he repeatedly ran after these objects like mirage of water because his memory is destroyed by absorption in the body. So I think we end here and then we'll continue tomorrow further. Whatever time you can let me know. Any question or comment before we end?
Prabhuji, time will be same 12 to 2.
Every day time it's not 11, it's 12 to 2, okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
And the Zoom link is same for all days, Prabhuji.
Okay, we are 17 somehow out of 18, right? Out of 18, we are 17 here.
17? Yes, Prabhu.
I can see 17. Okay, anybody has a question or comment? Your sound is not clear, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam, Prabhu.
Prabhu, in South India, this goddess of fortune lucky. It must be present in gold. Second and species as well.
Is somebody is hearing what Prabhuji is saying? I'm not clearly I'm not clearly hearing. Anybody?
Yeah, I'm also not able to hear him.
Please.
Gadaya Prabhu, try, just close your video and then speak, Prabhu. Or you can write in the chat. Gadaya Prabhu. Just.
Am I out, Prabhu? Hare Krishna?
Yes.
Prabhu, it is breaking. Just stop the video and then say. It will be better.
Haribol. Yes, welcome.
Prabhu, in South India, it is that very appreciated. Gold actually is given goddess of fortune. Goddess. They just gold.
Who is speaking? Somebody can find out. He can write in a chat or something. Who is speaking?
Gadaya Prabhu is speaking, and it is coming in transcript that he's saying it is called stool. Otherwise, in South we call as goddess of fortune. Something related to this he wants to speak.
But things are not getting clear.
I guess he's trying to understand why gold is called stool.
No, he's talking about yellow color, gold is yellow color and it's compared to
It is yellow color and Chakravarti Pad has written reddish, which is more like Rajogun. The mode of passion is red generally. It's called stool of Agni. Agni is red. I'm not clear. Anybody else has a question, or just write something in the chat, then we can see. One chat is there. No, it's old.
Right, Pran Prabhu, if it is possible, you can send voice message to WhatsApp and then we can hear it.
Jyoti Gopi Devi Dasi, voice breaking up, okay?
It was for Gadai Pran Prabhuji. His was the thing.
Okay, anyway, I think if there's no other question, then we can end it here, and tomorrow we'll continue.
Okay, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Done with the
Hare Krishna, okay, Hari Bol.